Terre Hermes is without a doubt a fragrance worth the name. If you translate this to English, it means as much as Earth of Hermes or Earth by Hermes. Since there is a new 2025 release, Eau de Parfum Intense, I thought we could take a look at all the releases from the Hermes Earth line. So settle in for a bit as we go through the Terre Hermes fragrances, starting with the first one released in 2006, all the way up to the latest Eau de Parfum Intense 2025. I have to admit, when the original came out, I wasn't sure how I felt about it. I smelled it a few times at the counters, however, I didn't really pull the trigger, as the year 2006 had some really good fragrance releases, like Encre Noir, Versace Mano Fresh, the original L'Homme, Prada Amber Pour Homme as well as Reflection Man by Amouage. Most of them are really still available today and are still talked about today, like Mano Fresh from Versace, stellar fragrance for summer, and of course, one of my all-time favorites, Reflection Man and L'Homme from YSL. Beautiful fragrances. Many of the fragrances from 2006 were truly timeless fragrances. So the choices that year were really plenty, and I wasn't sure how I felt about Jean-Claude Ellena's, dusty orange and flint notes in this first Terre de Hermes. If you haven't smelled this one right here before, it's sort of a dusty orange citrus with some peppery spice and wood. And of course, the unique note of flint. This is a beautiful fragrance with very little sweetness. The absence of sweetness for me puts it a little bit more on the mature side. The scent is super versatile and can be worn at any time and truly any occasion. Almost 20 years later, there are still many people, who are wearing this original, as it is a truly timeless fragrance. I did finally get this jumbo 200 milliliter for the price of 100 milliliter a few years ago. I couldn't pass that up. Since the original Terre de Hermes release, which was an eau de toilette concentration, there have been many flacons released with the EDT or eau de toilette formulation. It wasn't until 2009 Hermes released Terre de Hermes Parfum Edition. As far as I know, there isn't an eau de parfum concentration of the original. At least I don't have it. Feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think there is. This parfum edition right here from 2009 is it's mossier and has a fuller body as the vetiver in here, and the pelargonium, which is a similar note to geranium, has been removed, as well as the patchouli note has also been omitted. Quite a bit different. This leaves us with a similar dry orange, citry and woody fragrance. However, the Parfum version does lose a little bit of the freshness, from the original, as it replaces it with some spice and warm earthy moss notes. Many people most likely won't even notice the subtle differences between the eau de toilette and the Parfum. Basically, the EDT is a lighter version of the Parfum. All in all, they smell very similar. For you summer lovers out there, if you want an even fresher one, Terre de Hermes released Eau Tres Fraiche in 2014, this one right here. Now I'll go ahead and tell you that this is much harder to find. They don't make it anymore. And it will set you back, if you find it somewhere, it'll set you back 2 to 3 times of what they originally charged in the stores in 2014. Eau Tres Fraiche is a beautiful citrus summer fragrance. Comparatively speaking, you could compare this one with fragrances like Dior Homme Cologne, with the earthy sort of Terre de Hermes DNA in the background. Quite fresh, beautiful summer scent if you like this scent profile. Eau Tres Fraiche has an amped up citrus note and also a summerly fresh sort of watery aquatic feel. Eau Tres Fraiche never really gets too sharp or tangy. It is unmistakably, a flanker of Terre de Hermes. Eau Tres Fraiche is going to be the lightest one from this earthy Hermes line. Great for summer, really beautiful. So far, the line has smelled very, very similar from release to release. The original is an all-year, round fragrance, perfect if you just want to get one. While the Parfum is going to be a little bit better, for the cooler days and evenings. And of course, the Eau Tres Fraiche is going to be a super, summer superstar. Remember when I said that the vetiver in the original was removed for the Parfum version? Well, in 2018, Hermes released a fragrance called Eau Intense Vetiver. This dialed up the vetiver note way, way up. While the first three have all been formulated by Jean-Claude Ellena, the Eau Intense Vetiver, however, was created by Christine Nagel. This change in perfumers took this iteration of a fragrance, of a classic, in a slightly different direction. Quite a bit. Right from the start, Eau Intense Vetiver was one I liked. I smelled this one and immediately fell in love with it. Eau Intense Vetiver is a cozy vetiver with a good dose of fresh citrus and a bed of sort of spicy, resinous amber. It also has a brown cap instead of a black one. Good way to kind of tell which one is what. For me, the vetiver sounded good from the very, very start. The original scent profile is still going to be in this one. You can see it as it dries down, but it is really, really sort of far, in the back. Where the others so far were eau de toilette concentrations, except for the Parfum, of course, the Eau Intense Vetiver is an eau de parfum concentration. I truly love this one. This is a fragrance I always come back to for a random wear and smell. And I always think this is such a good, unique vetiver fragrance. Eau Intense Vetiver still remains a little bit more on the mature side. All of these are pretty much more on the mature side, since there is really a lack of sweetness in these. For you younger folks out there, if you want the Terre de Hermes, I think then the Eau Tres Fraiche would be the best, or my next one. It's going to be Terre de Hermes Eau Givree, released in 2022. Christine Nagel is also behind this one. It is a relatively new one, 2022. And just like in the Intense Vetiver, where the vetiver was turned, way up, in Eau Givree, the citrus is turned way up. This one right here is a fantastic summer scent with a bit of a kick due to the citron and juniper berries. There's also some timber and a spicy grapefruit note with some mild saltiness. Perfect for hot, humid days. The contemporary mineral notes of this one take it in a completely different direction from the original, at least for a little while. The Terre de Hermes DNA is still going to come through, after a while. It is soft, but it is going to be there. Just like the vetiver, this is an eau de parfum concentration. This is an intense grapefruit or citron scent. It's a very popular one, to the degree where we have a few other fragrances, following this trend, like Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue Forever, which came out in 2021, or the newest one from Parfums de Marly, Perseus. I'll probably do a comparison of them, soon. Let me know if that's something you would be into in the comments. Also, don't forget, to like and subscribe for more fragrance content. I truly would love to have you join me on my scent trail. The first four in this lineup all had the same cap, which were, sort of twist lock-in spray. They are interesting, but I prefer, a cap. Since the cap holds some of the scent, and this makes it easier for me to pick a fragrance, in the morning. You can just kind of spray a little bit in there and you can smell it like that. I don't like to spray a fragrance like you have to with these right here, because you can't smell it, so you have to spray it, and that's such a waste in my opinion. Thankfully, Eau Givree has a removable cap, as well as my next one, which is the newest one from 2025. The new Terre de Hermes Eau de Parfum Intense is also created by Christine Nagel. Once again, the perfumer took a huge leap, with wild notes of licorice, stone, lava. These are all some of the notes listed online. I don't have any idea what lava smells like. Burnt rock, perhaps. Then again, rock is mentioned in the note lineup, so maybe we're right on par. Also, perhaps the lava gives it a bit of a smokiness. If so, then it's going to be, quite a slight sense of smoke, perhaps. I do smell the coffee, however, in this one, which is a popular fragrance note, lately. And there's also the licorice note, This is going to be nowhere, near as intense as Dior Sauvage Elixir with a big dose of licorice, just in case you're wondering. So in this one, we're going to have bergamot, black pepper, coffee, and licorice. Combine this sort of on a base of wood, lava, and stone, and voila, you have the new Terre de Hermes Eau de Parfum Intense 2025. This sounds cool, right? Interesting at least. Well, if you try to look online for some ideas of what this smells like, you will find that there is a storm brewing in all the forums. Oh my God, this, oh my God, that. The community is all over the place with this release of Terre de Hermes. It kind of perplexes me a little bit. First the community is looking for something new and good and unique, and then it complains when it isn't the same as the original. Yeah, I'm not sure if this makes any sense at all. After all, the original is still going to be available if you want this one. If you need this scent profile, get the original or the other choices. Personally, my feeling on this one, I think it is a marvelous creation in the Hermes way. That's what I think. For me, this is along the lines of Carolina Herrera Passion or Haultain. Of course, not in the way they smell. They're completely different. But instead, sort of how the fragrance feels to me. This Christina Nagel creation is unique, unusual, but then warm, inviting, masculine. It's non-offensive, lived in sort of a cozy way. It is intelligent, creative, and it doesn't follow the mainstream. And yes, it is still going to be a little bit more on the mature side. I bought this one the very second I smelled it, just like Haultain and Passion. This is a spectacular fragrance that will most likely build a cult following. It won't be for everyone, it won't, but it will be everything for some people. I wore this one all week last week and loved every minute of it. My wife said, nah, at first, then she changed her mind. So I'm thinking of wearing this one another week. Let me know your thoughts. Nice spending time with you. Ciao.